What is up, duelists? Arts and Crofts here, once again bringing you your daily dose of Yu-Gi-Oh! GOAT format action. Today's feature match, we got Exarian HJ versus Pain123, two players that have been featured at least a few times on this channel before. As always, both players rated in the top 200 of the Dueling Book GOAT format ladder at the time this match was played. Looks like Pain won the RPS, and they are going to lead out with a Thunder Dragon. So, a little bit of chaos action coming out of them today. Pretty standard stuff in GOAT format, of course. TD into pot is a pretty solid opening, going up about a card and a half, and then into the graceful as well. So going up 2 cards right off the bat. Going to discard, even more, because we get to discard Thunder Dragon and Sinister Serpent. So just basically almost the perfect opening here for a Chaos Turbo or Chaos Control deck. TD into pot, into graceful, discarding T-Drag and a Serpent. You're already up a million cards. Duo here as well, so full Trinity. Turn 1. Gonna really set Exarian HJ back. You hit a Book of Moon, which is fine, and they're gonna discard Kaiku as well. So main deck Kaiku generally signifies warrior, but could be a lot of things, of course. And yeah, Pain just in an amazing spot here, thanks to the triple Trinity plus Serpent plus Thunder Dragon. We're gonna go T-set pass with a pretty insane lead. Exarian very much on the back foot here, but we'll try and play this out, of course. They're gonna lead out with a DD Warrior Lady. Okay, and then a premature burial on the Kaiku, so saying, you know what, I don't care if you do away one of my monsters, because I have premature to bring it back. So getting pretty aggressive here right out of the gate, definitely something that I think you kind of need to do when you're this far behind, and when you're playing what looks like a warrior strategy. So making the best of a bad situation here. Gonna attack in with the DD Warrior Lady. You had a Magician of Faith, which is just gonna probably re-grab Graceful Charity if I had to guess, with the Sinister coming in. Well, actually, maybe you grab the pot, though, unless you have an out. Because Kaiku is threatening to beat in and then banish your Serpent, so Graceful might be not as good if you can't ensure the +1. So if you don't have out to the Kaiku, maybe you just grab the pot here and forsake Graceful Charity for now. We are going to just grab the Graceful, though, so wondering if Pain has an out for it, out for this Kaiku. They do not, so the Serpent is going to get banished. Okay, so that's actually a pretty nice play for Exarian, making Pain's original Graceful Charity not plus as hard, because now the Sinister is banished, and it will make this follow Graceful Charity a little bit worse as well. Now this is just kind of marginal stuff because Pain is so far ahead, but at least it's nice to kind of slow the advantage train that Pain has going for them at the moment. Just going to pass here with these 2 monsters. Yeah, and, you know, Exarian, like I was saying, in a pretty bad spot, but I like getting aggressive here. I like at least shutting off the Sinister combos. And, you know, you kind of have to present a threat and close out the game before Turbo just kills you with all of the cards they have. Pain going to fire off that Graceful Charity that we knew about. They're going to discard Dekoichi and that last remaining Thunder Dragon. So Dekoichi hitting the grave does turn on Chaos if you can deal with the Kaiku Floodgate effect, which we can do pretty easily here. Going to go set a back row. In main phase 1, no real need to do that, but not the end of the world. Breaker here, you have an interesting choice, I guess, because the premature is on the Kaiku, so you can go Breaker, pop the premature, and then kill the DD Warrior Lady, get a nice clean 2-for-1, or you could just go like Breaker, keep the token on, kill the Kaiku, and then you still have a pretty big monster there. That is still bigger than DD Warrior Lady and threatening to pop another back row. So I guess it depends on if you want to just clear out the board here now, or if you would rather keep the bigger threat on board. Probably you're fine just like wiping Exarian's board, though, because you're so far ahead that you might as well just like remove any possible threats that they have. So I kind of prefer the Breaker, pop the premature, and then trade with the DD Warrior Lady. It also means Exarian's light gets banished, so they'll have Chaos turned on, or turned off, I should say. Whereas you don't care if your Breaker gets banished because you already have a Dark Engrave. Yeah, so Breaker will pop the premature, killing the Kaiku, and then trade with the DD Warrior Lady. I think this is the right call. Good to just be conservative, deal with the stuff while you can, shut off Exarian's outs back into this game, and, you know, Breaker getting a nice 2-for-1 is pretty solid. And then Pain will set a back row pass. Exarian's going to draw for turn. Does have Graceful Charity here, so finding a Trinity piece of their own is pretty nice. And they will go ahead and discard Reinforcement of the Army and Return from the Different Dimension. Okay, so Exarian looks like they're actually playing a return strategy here. Potentially like Warrior Return, which is pretty cool. I'm not... Yeah, I mean, I guess you can just play like standard Warrior packages in Return. It is more kind of an aggressive chaos strategy. Unfortunately, not so great when you're this far behind, but neither is really any strategy in the game, right? So return getting discarded here, I think definitely makes sense, especially when your only fodder for it is a single DD warrior lady. And then discarding Rhoda is probably fine if you already have threats or if you're just trying to stall things out. But we're just gonna set a couple of back row pass. So maybe he has like a Call of the Haunted to bring back this Kaiku. That could be decent. I feel like your only chance back into this game is if like Pain bricks and you can like turn off their chaos for a long time with the Kaiku, maybe. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like standby phase Call of the Haunted or something. We're gonna get end phase MST though, pop one of the back row, and is a scapegoat. Okay, so Exarian playing something a little bit spicy here. You see a warrior package, you see scapegoat, you see return from the different dimension. So really interesting sort of strategy here. Maybe a little bit of chaos or goat control running a warrior package with return tech, something like that. I guess we'll get a little bit more clarity as the match goes on, of course. Pain's going to drop return. We got pro set Heavy Storm here. So we set Heavy Storm and Mystical Space Typhoon. I mean, I guess you just had to get some cards out of your hand. It was a little bit interesting of a play, though. You do have the Jar of Greed to chain, which is pretty nice. And it's totally fine. Yeah, just to clear out Exarians. And yeah, it's like, okay. Exarian is just beneath a mountain of advantage. So definitely understand conceding there. And we will go to game 2. We'll see what Exarian exactly is cooking up. Of course, got completely steamrolled by a full Trinity opening from Pain, so didn't really get to show off any of the stuff that their deck is built to do. So I hope we have a little bit more of a competitive one here. Starting now, Exarian's going to lead out with a reinforcement of the army, so we'll get a little bit more intel as to what they're packing. Going to grab a DD Assailant, which I guess makes sense when you're playing a return deck. Totally fair. We're going to go T-set pass. Would not be surprised to see that just be a set DD Assailant. Very safe turn 1 monster because it can't really get beaten over profitably. And yeah, solid opening from Exarian. No Trinity, which is a little bit of a bummer for them, especially considering how they lost game 1. But not too bad, at least. Pain here. Looks like they opened Nobleman of Crossout, so keeping that in when you saw your opponent on a little bit of warrior stuff is kind of interesting, but I guess you got kind of a weird read because you did see the Scapegoat as well, so it wouldn't be super surprising to see Exarian running lots of flips. And, you know, honestly, return decks generally like to run like Triple Spy, Triple Dekoichi as well, because if they do get knocked, then their banish zone gets filled up, and it makes return a lot better. So we'll see what knock hits here. It is just going to hit that DD Assailant, though. Okay, so no flip monsters getting hit. Pain, interesting. You know, I can understand keeping it in, though, because return decks generally play a lot of flips. Just going to hit that DD Assailant here, and then not going to have a monster to follow it up, so a little bit of a tempo loss there for Pain. Despite having the knock, which is a very good way to kind of equalize board presence. Just going to set a couple back row pass, and Exarian has another option to kind of get a little bit aggressive here. Going to go normal summon Abyss Soldier. Wow, so what an interesting deck. I guess this is Goat Control teching a return, perhaps. Abyss Soldier is a nice aggressive monster here to start getting in some damage. Hit for 18. We got Raigeki Break from Pain. Discarding the Sinister Serpent, though, so just a nice 1-for-1. Has the Sinister to recuperate the lost discard. And once again, Exarian failing to really get any aggression going, but slowly draining Pain of answers. And as we saw last turn, Pain doesn't seem to really have any plays of their own, so you're probably fine with this if you're Exarian. It's going to pass turn, though. We'll get End Phase Dust Tornado on this set, which is the return, so return not going to be able to get resolved here. Just the DD Assailant for now. One of those cards that you don't really want to see early when you're playing the deck. So honestly, you're probably fine trading it for a Dust Tornado at the moment. Pain here can go re-grab that Sinister Serpent. Playing, well, actually, no, there's no Dust Shoot on the board, so it doesn't matter. Forgetting the Sinister, which is interesting. And they're just going to go set a couple back row pass. Definitely would recommend remembering to grab your Sinister Serpents, guys. But yeah, Pain here seems a little bit monster dead. Which Exarian here, they had a couple normal summons so far this game. If they have a third, they could really start to kind of wear away at Pain's potential answers. Exarian will go ahead. We got Mystic Swordsman level 2, which is not the strongest clock, but it at least is a clock. Of course, you would prefer to summon it out when Pain has like a set monster on board, but at least you're dealing a little bit of damage. Get a hit for 900, and just pass there. So we're just leaving this 900 attack monster kind of out to dry. Any monster drawn from Pain here will probably be able to mess with this. It might force out awkward plays like a normal summon Spy or normal summon Dekoichi just to beat over it, which is a little bit of a win, but not the most impressive play for Exarian, obviously. Pain here. Now remembering to grab the Sinister Serpent. Not bad. Ooh, and they have Zumbira here as well. Okay, so kind of an interesting hybrid side deck strategy for Pain. Keeping in the Nox, but also bringing in beaters like Zumbira. I guess that makes sense based on what you've seen so far. Zumbira will just be able to get a nice clean +1 over this Mystic Swordsman, though, which is very, very nice for Pain. Starting to really stabilize here and actually finding a normal summon for the first time this game. It's pretty nice. This Hardening will drop down to 6,800 as well, which isn't too bad. They're not under any sort of clock thanks to the Zumbira, but they are now down a card. Gonna drop for turn though. Just gonna set a monster pass. Spy Zumbira is small enough that Spy won't be able to beat over, or that it won't be able to beat over a potential Spy or anything like that. And you've already tested for a knock, so this is a little bit safer than it would be otherwise. Pain, just gonna go in, slam this Zumbira into the set. It is a Sangan, okay, so you're fine with that if you're Exarian. Can go search up something useful. Tsukiyomi would be nice to clear out the Zumbira, maybe. Oh, we're going to go Injection Fairy Lily, so getting aggressive, as these like return decks generally like to be. Lily, quite a good card to, kind of do a ton of damage out of nowhere, right? And then Pain is going to go set a monster past there as well, so finding another normal summon is pretty nice. Getting a monster potentially in the way of any sort of big push out of Exarian. They will draw for turn. And then go Nobleman across out here on the set. Cool. Hitting a Sinister Serpent. Okay, so Sinister gone. Just trying to put a wall in the way of things, but running into knock. And yeah, getting your Sinister knock this early in the game is kind of a bummer. But I definitely understand why they went for it. When Exarian seems to be setting up for a pretty big push here. Follow play is just going to be set a monster pass, though. So not finding a profitable way to get around the Zumbira just yet. It is pretty weak at the moment, but it has gotten a lot of value so far, just kind of keeping Exarian at bay. Pain has a Sangan for turn here, so not too bad. We're going to go Exarian, or Zumbira, try and beat over Exarian's set, and then Sangan can get in for 1k. Is going to hit a DD Assailant. Oh, that's actually not great out of Exarian. You would think Zumbira would be small enough that you could find like a Kaiku or something to beat over it. But now Zumbira actually got a nice like +2 here. Right, because it beat over the Mystic Swordsman, or +1, I should say. It beat over the Mystic Swordsman and then traded with the DD Assailant. So net +1. Thanks to the Zumbira, Exarian not finding an efficient way to deal with it. It is at least off the board, but it was going to be pretty weak regardless. So honestly, not the end of the world for Pain. And this clears the way for Sangan to start clocking the opponent as well, which is a very, very annoying card to deal with, as we always see on this channel. Exarian, though, not in a terrible spot just yet. Sangan, not the biggest clock, so you do have some time to find an answer here. Just going to go straight up for Injection Fairy Lily, though. We're just going to go ahead and attack into the Sangan. So one of the first attacks in quite a while. 2 untested back row here. Could just be some battle traps. But we're just looking to get in a ton of damage over the Sangan, I guess is the idea. Let's see. Pain, thinking about what they want to do. They're going to let it go through. Exarian's going to pump up the Lily to 3,400 attack. Dealing a lot of damage to Pain, but they will get the Sangan trigger, so no card advantage swing just yet. Just going to drop Pain down to 47, which isn't too bad. Pain can just grab a Gravekeeper Spy, which is pretty good in the face of Lily. Kind of wall it out, right? You don't want to be spending your life to power up Lily just to beat over defense mode monsters, especially when there's 2 of them potentially. So that might put a stop to any big aggressive pushes from Exarian. And then Exarian's going to main phase to set a back row and pass turn. So getting a little bit aggressive there. Pain definitely has a lot of options to deal with this, though. They're still relatively healthy on life, although a big return could be a little bit scary if Exarian can set up for it, and if they're running multiple copies of the card, of course. We're going to get end phase MST, though, on this new back row, which is the second copy of Return, and I feel like Return decks generally don't play the full 3. So Exarian could be out of that big kind of trump card here. And now their Injection Fairy Lily is just standing alone with no back row to protect it, which is a little bit scary. Snatch Steal plus the Spy in hand is just game here as well, so keep that in mind. Pain doesn't have though. They're just going to go set a monster. Very likely it's that Gravekeeper Spy that they just grabbed off the Sangan, which, as I said before, is just a very, very efficient way of walling out this Lily for a very long time. Especially with 1 knock on as well, and a Mystic Swordsman. That's a couple pretty solid outs to this, as well as Abyss Soldier, right? 3 potential outs to the set are all kind of gone, as well as 1 roaded to search up for another one, so Good chance the spy gets to stick. Exarian is going to fire off a heavy storm here, though, and this set has been around for quite a long time, so pretty likely that it is not a chainable. Oh, it is just Book of Moon, though. Yeah, so that does nothing, right? You can set the fairy, but it'll just get flip summoned. Again, no big deal. I guess it removes Exarian's ability to turn into defense this turn if they so choose. But the idea of going for Heavy Storm here is you're clearing out the back row for a potential offensive push. So getting a nice little 1-for-1 trade there and setting up for something big could be nice. Knock plus a monster is pretty close to game. We're going to get Premature Burial, on the Mystic Swordsman, which is also quite nice. So Exarian just needs basically any other monster, right? Lily will put them down to 1,300. So lots of stuff potentially in Exarian's hand to make this game. We're going to go Abyss Soldier, so maybe has the Sinister in hand to just bounce it. And then that, in fact, would be game. Abyss Soldier, bounce the set monster. Both monsters attack in, pump up the Lily, is GG. We're going to go Abyss Soldier. Yeah, they had the Sinister in hand. They will bounce the set, and that is game 2 here. Going to Exarian on their Goat return list, I guess is what we're calling this. And that is GG. Nice. Not bad. So 1-1 here in the series. Exarian tying it up with a nice little aggressive push there. Had the answers to a lot of stuff, despite a return never resolving so far this match. Lily and Abyss Soldier are a pretty good combo to force through damage in a pinch, though. And Pain just really could not keep up with the aggression from Exarian there. Pain will be able to go first here in game 3, which is nice. So we'll see how they can utilize that advantage. Maybe they'll just open full Trinity again like they did in game 1. Starting off with Thunder Dragon is eerily similar to game 1. See if they have anything to follow it up, though. Duo is a nice opening hand, so going up a bunch of cards here, most likely. Hitting a Mystic Swordsman, which, as we saw last game, is kind of a double-edged sword in this matchup. And going to discard a Kaiku here for Exarian as well. So getting hit with Duo, probably not exactly what Exarian wanted. Didn't have the Sinister in hand to kind of make it just a 1-for-1 as well. So Pain going up a lot of value here. And they're going to T-set pass. Now, I will say, small error out of Pain here. Going for the Thunder Dragon before the Duo. No reason to do that. You don't want to give the opponent extra information that you have the TDs in hand before you Duo. It's pretty minor, but it's easy to not do, right? So there's no reason really to do this. Likely still fine, but we'll see if Exarian can maybe punish, or if they, took that into account with deciding what cards to keep off the Duo. They do get to draw for turn. At 4 cards, so it does shoot is potentially an issue, but we haven't seen that out of Pain at all this game, so kind of unlikely. Exarian's going to go fire off a Reinforcement of the Army. And going to go grab an Exiled Force. Okay, yeah, so probably would have wanted to grab a Mystic Swordsman if it was in the deck to go recuperate some of the card advantage, because Exiled is just a 1-for-1 trade with potential sets, of course. Ooh, yeah, misclick there, totally fine. We're going to follow up with Graceful Charity after the Rhoda as well. So using the Rhoda first to thin out the deck and make this Graceful a little bit better. Definitely makes sense to me. And they're going to discard a Tribe Infecting Virus and a Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. So a very, very monster-heavy opening here out of Exarian, but most of them just ending up in the grave. We do know that this is a deck that likes to play, premature and Call of the Haunted stuff, so totally fine seeing these monsters in the grave, as that doesn't mean that they're gone for good. Also notably setting up Chaos here, getting the Grandmaster in grave as well, plus the Kaiku discarded off the Duo. So could potentially go for a little BLS action here, get some monsters in the Banish Zone to set up for a turn. So despite Exarian going down a card thanks to the Duo, they could be setting up for a pretty nice play here. They're just going to go Normal Summon Injection Fairy Lily here as well. So grabbing the Exile to potentially deal with the set monster, but saying, you know what, I'm just going to get aggressive here. We're going to go Lily, probably Normal Summon. Oh, Lily plus Mind Control, clear it out, start getting in some damage is pretty nice. They're going to steal a Magician of Faith, which is huge. So Pain going for a little bit of Duo, hoping to go for a Duo Faith Duo, but getting punished by the likely side-decked Mind Control out of Exarian. And they're going to be able to recur probably their Graceful Charity here, which is really strong, as well as clear the board, minus the back row, of course, for a potential Injection Fairy Lily hit here. So really nice opening out of Exarian, despite going down a card thanks to the Duo. And they're maximum punishing here. Yeah, Faith, grab Charity. See if you want to hold it or not. Go into battle phase. And we're going to attack. Pain does have the Sakuretsu armor coming out of the side here to deal with the Lily. Now, thankfully for Lily players, you do not have to, Sakuretsu armor cannot be activated in the damage step, which is when you would go for the Lily effect. So you don't have to pay the 2,000 and then get it killed. So it's just going to be a 1-for-1 trade, nothing more, nothing less. But Exarian's... Oh! So I was going to say Exarian's opening push is stymied, which it will be. There won't be any damage getting dealt this turn. But we do have the Book of Moon in hand to set the Injection Fairy Lily and protect it from the Sakuretsu. Lily, of course, being a limited monster, and a very powerful one at that, so definitely makes sense that you would want to save it from potential demise here. And then just going to pass turn, keeping the Graceful Charity in hand, likely not having any really great discard fodder going. Unfortunately for them, their Lily is just sitting here in 1,500 defense. And is kind of a sitting duck, right? Pain could go like Tribe Infecting Virus, could go Tribute Summon for Thunder Dragon, just to beat over it. And yeah, so kind of an interesting choice to go for the Book of Moon there, honestly, because it's very easy for Pain to just kill it right now. So you kind of just gifted your opponent a +1, right? Like Lily trading for Saku is fine from a perspective of it's just like a 1-for-1, right? But now it's Lily trading, or now it's Saku trading for Lily plus Book of Moon, right? If Pain just wants to go for Tribute Summon Thunder Dragon. So that's probably fine. Yeah, just Tribute for TD, kill the Lily. Yeah, kind of a waste of a Book of Moon there. And now Pain is just in a really, really strong position. Yeah, Exarian a little bit of a misplay. They were down a decent amount, but yeah, stuff like that doesn't help you come back in these games, of course. Not out of it just yet, though. Thunder Dragon, not the biggest, scariest monster you'll ever see, so Exarian could recuperate that lost card advantage if they can, like, slam it down a Kaiku or something. Gonna fire with that Graceful here, trying to dig for some more gas. That will resolve, I guess, and they will discard another Book of Moon and a Mirror Force. So playing lots of books here post-side. Kind of interesting. Mirror Force as well, not the best card against Chaos Turbo, so not surprising to see that get discarded. Off the Graceful Charity. Lots of, like, battle stuff here, which is not generally what you want against Turbo. But maybe thinking that Pain... I mean, Book is good if you think your opponent's playing, like, Chaos Control, right? To, like, flip down Thousand Eyes and stuff. But we haven't seen Pain play any, like, Skip Up meta stuff, so... Seems like a potentially suboptimal side deck configuration here. But let's see if they, that is the one good thing about Graceful Charity is you can afford to play some suboptimal cards because you can just filter them out with the Graceful and improve your hand. And they found Duo here as well. So with only one Thunder Dragon left in hand, I really like this play because you're guaranteed to hit a real card. And you have plenty of life points to spare. You hit Snatch Steal as well, which is a very nice card to know you don't no longer have to play around. And we'll likely see the second Thunder Dragon get discarded, or the third, I should say. And so Exarian fighting back decently card advantage-wise. You're now only down a card, right? So not too bad. And we got Premature Burial to revive probably Kaiku, I'm guessing. To then go beat over this Thunder Dragon, get back another card, banish their grave. This could be really strong if Pain does not have a Battle Trap. Oh, we're going to go for Lily, so we're going extra aggressive here. Trying to kill them as much as possible. I mean, I guess they don't have Chaos Live, so Kaiku isn't as strong. There's no Darks Engraved, so if you just want to do maximum damage, this is probably fine. Let's see, though. Lily's going to get in, try and attack over this Thunder Dragon. We do have the last remaining card being Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, though. Coming out here for Pain. Going to be able to bounce the Lily to top of the deck, which doesn't deal with it permanently, actually. They're going to discard Sangan as well. It does get a Dark Engraved to turn on Chaos, but this is actually just a nice little 2-for-1 for Exarian, and they're going to have exactly the same play next turn. So you can see kind of the issue with Wind Blast here. Raigeki Rake definitely would have been a lot better in this situation because it would have permanently dealt with these threats. But now either one that you choose to bounce is just going to come back next turn. I guess you bounce the Premature Burial, so Exarian has to pay the 800 again, unless you're worried about them potentially choosing a different premature target. That's actually an interesting choice. I think it's pretty close. I guess you probably bounce the Lily because you don't... Like, the 800 life probably doesn't matter too much. And you'd rather not give them the option to go for something more optimal than Lily next turn, depending on what you draw. So you probably just bounce the Lily here. That's my guess. Yeah. Cool. And then Exarian here. Oh, we're going to go main phase 2. Yeah, still has that Exiled Force in hand that was known, so they can just go pop the Thunder Dragon next turn and say, okay, I'm top decking Lily next turn. Hope you find something good to deal with it. So really interesting. Game getting really simplified here quite early, which is quite nice. Well, definitely happens when both players are able to play Delinquent Duo quite early on. And honestly, these top deck scenarios, I think, favor the more aggressive of the two decks usually, right? Especially when we know we have top deck injection fairly early coming in from Exarian, which is very powerful. Pain does have some top decks here. See exactly what they draw. Gonna go set a monster, which does make Lily a lot worse. So Exarian's gonna go draw Lily, but now there's something in the way that you probably don't want to just pay 2k and run into. You probably don't even try and poke. You probably just normal summon Lily pass is the idea here. We're just gonna set Lily, which I don't like because there's a lot of stuff that can just beat over the 1500 defense. Whereas at least if it's in attack position, like especially because you don't have to worry about snatch steal, attack position Lily at least will like defend itself against potential attackers, right? Whereas now if Pain just like top decks a breaker or a tribe or something, your Lily's just dead. And it's kind of like what we saw earlier, right, with this Book of Moon. Like a defense position Lily really doesn't do too much for you. Pain. Oh, okay. Looks like we're going to top deck some Chaos anyway, so it's not really going to matter. BLS is going to come down. We got Flip Summon Kinetic Soldier as well, which makes sense when you know your opponent is on a Warrior package. And yeah, is this just GG? It's BLS in drop him to 32. No, it's not game, but you will be able to pass with lethal on board. I did might have jinxed Exarian here by saying I think they were poised to win this top deck war, but Pain went top deck Kinetic Soldier into top deck BLS, which is very, very good in a top deck scenario, and likely going to be closing the game out here unless we see like exactly Snatch Steal pretty much. Yeah. And so that is 4350 damage coming in. Exarian will get dropped down to 1850 life points. Very few cards left in the deck that can do anything here. Mirror Force already gone. And you're just banking on Snatch Steal. You're banking on your own BLS. But own BLS actually doesn't really do anything because Kinetic can just kill it, right? So you need like, what, pot into Snatch plus BLS or something crazy. Yeah, not looking super great here for Exarian. And yeah, just drawing. Looks like they just drew a dead, or we'll see the hand. Drew a DD Assailant, which is not going to be enough. And that is 2-1. Pain on Chaos Turbo, taking it down against Exarian's, I guess, GOAT Control return list, which is pretty cool. So nice brew here out of Exarian, not something you see every day. Definitely packs a punch here. We saw him take down game 2 with a lot of really aggressive plays, but unfortunately not consistent enough to be able to take down Chaos Turbo, and it's just very powerful draws that it's capable of. Game 1, of course, Pain getting full Trinity plus TD plus Serpent, like it was basically no contest. Exarian, like I mentioned, game 2 was able to actually, going first, establish a little bit more aggression, keep Pain on the back foot, and close out the game, despite never being able to actually resolve a return from the different dimension. And then game 3 here, I feel like a couple misplays out of Exarian, but they did end up making it kind of close, forcing a top deck situation with just like trading off stuff with delinquent duos and exiled forces and things like that. But unfortunately, Pain top decking BLS when both players have like one card is pretty hard to come back from, and that will seal the deal there for the Chaos Turbo player. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will catch you all next time.